I want to begin, Honorable Chair, by a word of appreciation to NARO and all the sub-agencies that are under it for the work you are doing for the country, because you are responsible for the food we eat and the produce we export. Thank you for that. Like the chair said, today we are here for accountability arising from the Auditor General's report ending June 30th, 2022. Chair, I want to begin and I want to request, Chair, that I have a number of issues and I'm sure colleagues also will be chipping in. But instead of raising thank you, Chair. I want us to start with an issue that is to do with the approved budget for NARO for the year under review. We note that the approved budget as compared to the money that was warranted to you, we note that you received more money than you approved budget, and we find that in your financial statement, the statement of appropriation account. You have your financial statements. Yes, you check page 41 of your financial statements. You note that your revised approved budget, because that's what we go with, is 107 billion, but the warrants you got was up to 109 billion. To be specific, without reading the other figures, you received 1.3 billion over and above your approved budget. How was this possible? Do you please explain this and talk to us about it?
Thanks. Chair, I'm referring to page 41, and I think we're on the same page. I want to note on this page that the initial approved budget for NARO was 110 billion 607 million 657,334. That was the initial approved budget for NARO. It was 110 billion 607 million 657,334. Now, the revised budget remained actually the same. The warranted budget as of 30th June 2022 was 109 billion 88 million 925 133. Based on that fact, Chair and members, I want to confirm we never received money beyond the budget.
That figure you are reading includes the non-tax revenue?
I'm reading
that
when
figure
you look
are
at
reading.
the total.
Yes.
If you
check up there, that figure includes 2.8 billion, which is non-tax revenue.
Yes, it does. It does. We are looking at the total below. I want to request you to refer to the last figures below, which gives the total.
Are you at the same page 41?
I'm on page 41, sir.
Can you look at the transfers received from the Treasury. The third row of that financial statement, statement of appropriation account. Look at that third row. The transfers you received from the Treasury.
Yes.
And for me, that
Transfers
is...
received from the Treasury.
Yes, for us, that is where we are looking at.
Okay.
That you received more than what was approved.
Okay.
Explain that.
That is on the non-tax revenue. It is on the non-tax revenue. I get the wrong.
No. Look at that.
DG, Madam Chair. The DG has...
Yes, Honorable.
He has
You're
a
right.
copy of what we are referring to. And we are talking about the third row. After external assistance, there is transfers received from the Treasury, UCF. That's what we are discussing. But you have jumped. You have included even NTR.
Actually, let me read for you from the initial.
Can read for you.
Initial approved budget was 107 million, 773, 107 billion, 773 million, 59,894. The revised. Are you seeing those figures?
Yes, I'm seeing the figures.
Yes.
Now.
You go along that row, and then you tell us whether you did not receive more money than you actually had as an approved budget.
Okay, I take note. I've seen this. I seek support of my technical officer.
So what was the miracle there?
Yeah.
Yes, MD,
I
no,
seek
MD,
support from
MD, you are free. That's why you've come with so many of you are free to make good use of them.
absolutely.
But if you want to answer other things alone, you're also free to answer alone. So you tell us, who do you want to help you? You are the one to tell us.
I request my Director of Finance, supported by the Principal Accountant.
Actually, that Director of Finance is too far from you. Can we create space for you to die quietly?
Madam Chair, I want to affirm that what the Director General was presenting is correct. The total appropriated budget for NARO for this year under review was 110 billion 607 million 657,334. Now, this figure of one, which was warranted, actually includes the non-tax revenue. Because when they are warranting, the...
Excuse me. That figure you are reading, okay, the 110 billion, includes the non-tax revenue.
Yes.
For us, we are asking you, the transfers received from the Treasury was 109 billion against your approved budget of 107 billion. Does it mean, okay, we asked you, what was the magic? First tell us how it happened. How did you receive more money from the Treasury than what was approved?
Honorable Nangori.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm sorry, I'll take you a little bit back. I would like to know, right from the Director General, the Director of Finance, the Principal Accountant, the first four. For how long have you worked in this organization? Because the way you are talking, as if you have just joined this organization yesterday, and you are not very sure about the figures that we are telling you. Can we have a brief background? For how long have you been in this organization? Then we proceed. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair and honorable members, I've been in the role of Director General and Accounting Officer for the last 180 days. For the last 108 days. in the role of Director General NARO and Accounting Officer for the last 180 days.
And what were you before?
I've been in the service of NARO since inception.
What were you before?
What
I
Before
was
you
the
became
Deputy
director?
Director General Research Coordination,
Oh, okay.
Dr. Ambrose Agona.
Huh?
Dr. Ambrose Agona was the accounting officer.
Where is he?
Since his term ended, is now out of service of NARO.
So you have been in the organization, you have been in the organization for more than 10 years.
Yes, sir.
But as an accounting officer, 109 days.
180 days.
108 days, those are 3 months. The next person.
Oh, I almost thought.
Hopefully,
were
clerk, you are
unassigned
taking
here.
note of that because there's something I'm trying to drive at. The principal, the director of finance.
You're off. You're off.
I've been in the role of Director of Finance for the last 14 days.
Huh?
Before what were you?
I was Director of Finance, National Forest Authority.
So you have just joined this organization.
Yes.
The last 14 days. Those are 2 weeks. Third person.
Thank you, Chair and the members. I have been the principal accountant for 5 years, but I've been in NARO service for the last 15 years as senior accountant and accountant.
So you are the most senior.
Yes,
The fourth person, and these are your figures.
I confirm they are my figures.
Okay. You are the one who gave them to accounting officer to sign.
Correct.
Okay. The first person.
Thank you, Chair.
When you finish talking, you can switch off your
Switch
mic
off your mic.
so that we don't get
The first person.
Thank you, Chair and members. I'm the principal planner.
Even the other one, can you switch off that mic?
Switch off the other mic.
Thank you.
I'm the principal planner for NARO. I've been there for 4 years.
4 years. Thank
Okay,
you.
I think the key ones have introduced
The key
themselves.
ones are
Then
when I wanted to guide is that the accounting officer, director of finance, of course when you take over office, you take over their liabilities. For us, we shall say these are your figures because you are here
Yes.
by virtue that you are holding those offices. And you are the one actually to give accountability to the committee. But we shall dwell so much on the principal accountant because they are the ones who prepared these figures for the then accounting officer who signed them. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
thank you, Honorable Nangoli, but also the MD, the current MD, and the Director of Finance. When you received this document, I know the Director of Finance, you've been in office for 14 days, and MD for 108 days. I think as you are doing your inception and handover, I'm sure you came across this document. Did you appreciate the document? Did you understand? Or the principal accountant did not do service to you? And maybe another thing also, when we wrote to you to come to appear before COSASE, who did the response?
We did the response which we have with us.
No, who? So we are are you telling us we should dispose of this? Because this is what we received.
If we raise an issue and you think the team and you think this was a
Honorable
mistake
Richard,
by a tune of 1.3 billion over and above what was approved, how did it happen?
Thank you, Chair and the committee members. I want to state clearly that we did not receive any money over and above the approved budget. NARO has, in this document, 2 sources of revenue, one from GOU recurrent development, then there's NTR. By law,
Do you have a copy of this document we are referring to? Can you look at page 41?
Honorable, that's where I am.
Yes, can you look at that third row where we have transfers received from Treasury. Does that include
NTR.
No. Look at the row. Does that include NTR?
Honorable members, when we receive money from the Treasury, NTR is part of recurrent budget. Okay? NTR is part of recurrent budget. At the planning, it is separated like this, but on the receipt of money from the Treasury, it is fused together. So, NTR is the recurrent budget, and it is released as such. So, when you receive recurrent, in that there is NTR in the recurrent budget. So, there is no money we have received over and above the budget.
Why is that in your accounting, why is that not captured that way? Because if you look at the same budget, there is a column, there is a row for non-tax revenue. But in the transfers, there is a nil. So why is it captured that way in the accounts?
Honorable members and the chair, NARO is allowed to spend NTR, not at source. It is appropriated. It is AIA, appropriation aid. Now, when we are receiving money, this money is combined with the recurrent. That is why under NTR, when you come to warrants, it is zero. The money is only taken care of under recurrent budget. That's why the warrant is zero.
When there is a mistake, you agree and you don't waste time. This schedule is provided by the Accountant General. That is why he provided that if there was any TR under the warrant, under the received, the actual, you put it. That is why you're able to put nil. So if there is a mistake, kindly agree and the committee moves on.
Principal Accountant, the colleague is actually trying to help you on your own figures. I do not know why you're failing to understand him. If you look at this very column that he's speaking to, transfers received from Treasury. The approved budget was 107.77.
Move the
Warrants.
mic closer. Mike. Move it closer.
Sorry. Madam Chair, I'm speaking to transfers received from Treasury. If you look at that, you'll see that initial approved budget was 107 billion, 0.7. Revised approved budget was 107.7. Warrants is 109 billion. Actual as of 30th June 2022 is 109 billion. Variance revised budget versus actual is 1.3. The question is, you budgeted for 107, approved 107 billion. You got 109 billion. There is a variance of 1.3. The question is, explain how did it come? Before even you speak to NTR, just explain this variance.
Can you explain this together with the total revenue? If you add that figure we are asking with the non-tax revenue of 3.09, what is the total?
Just an additional question so that you answer at once.
Take note
Take
and
note.
answer at once.
You see, Principal Accountant, if you want to take us through these figures of yours have a lot of issues. I want you to go to total revenue, total actual, on the actual column as 30th June, as at 30th June 2022. Here it is talking about 12 what? 12 billion. What do you have? And you have confirmed, actually, you have confirmed that these are your figures. You are the ones, you are the one who prepared them and gave them to the accounting officer to sign. So can you clarify that?
Chair and the members, I still want to reiterate that at the point of receiving money from the Treasury, NTR is received as a recurrent, is released to NARO as a recurrent. NTR budget and the recurrent budget, they are combined together. At the point of budgeting, they can be separated, but when we are receiving money from the Treasury, the two are combined. There was a change of policy. That's why NTR was fused with the recurrent. Now, when we are accounting for this, the warrants are treated as GOU releases. NTR is zero. In actual sense, NTR is not zero. It's all in the recurrent budget.
It's okay. Now let's go to the next column, actual. Can you go to the next column of actual?
Yes, sir.
Now, now we have added your non-tax revenue.
Chair.
You had approved a budget of 110 billion, but you got 112 billion. Doesn't it come again to what we are saying?
Chair.
These are your figures.
Chair and the members. One, I want to confirm this 12 billion here is an error. But I also want to say it like this, that on the contrary, the money we received from the Treasury was less than what was budgeted, what was approved. On the contrary, by a figure of 1.5 billion.
Is this your financial statement?
I have agreed, members, that these are my statements.
Yes.
Does it mean the figures that are here are wrong?
Now, I want you to answer the question I'm asking you. You by step, and you said no, that figure includes non-tax revenue. So I wanted you now to go to the column of actuals. Okay? The actuals we have is 109 plus 3. And you are saying the figure down is a mistake. It's supposed to be 112. Is that correct?
Chair.
Is that correct that the figure is 112 billion?
Chair, the 3 billion you are seeing here as NTR is the actual that we collected.
Yes.
We collected.
Yes.
Not received. What we received is all the catered for in the recurrent, which is part of the 109 billion.
So can I say that the way this, do you receive the NTR before you correct it? Because you said above that figure includes NTR, the transfers from the Treasury. That's what you said. So did you receive the NTR transfers from the Treasury before you collected it?
Chair, the 109 figure includes recurrent development and NTR. The 3097 is the one we remitted to the Treasury. Okay?
Okay.
Yes.
I think members, we may not get.
Yeah, I want to get the guidance of your boss, your immediate boss, the director of finance. I am sure, even if you've been just there for 14 days, you've looked through these figures. Please save us our time and tell us what is happening, what is going on.
Madam Chair, what I can say about this non-tax revenue is that when non-tax revenue is collected, the whole of it is remitted to the consolidated fund. And it comes back by way of cash limits. Which cash limits, as he explained, are part and parcel of the nanny wage. Now, when you look at this financial statement, at the end here, you will see transfers to the treasury, the 3 billion being reflected the same figure. Down the last line. So,
let me, because you're going to confuse, kindly seek to go and make a reconciliation of your figures. They are wrong. There's nothing to add here. Yeah.
That you allow us time to go and do a reconciliation of these figures.
Madam
So
Chair.
when Honorable Nangoli, just hold on. When can we get that reconciled report? Huh?
1 week.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Honorable Nangoli.
Thank you,
Then
Madam Chair.
the-
Madam
Honorable
Chair,
Tungu.
I'm so disappointed with the principal accountant. Reason being, he has confirmed that these are their figures. When you go to page 48, that's the last one, before you go for a reconciliation, and hopefully you know the process of verifying these figures. It's not just a matter of going to NARO, then you verify, you bring it back. You have to think the audience who is the accountant general, you know it. So you go to page 48. Page 48, note 4. On your financial statement, transfers received from the Treasury, Consolidated Fund. Is it talking about 121 or 109? Huh? You are insisting on 107. What figure do we have here? Not 4. Let's have that one on record, and then Madam Chair will guide on the way forward. Because you are wasting a lot of time on something. Agree, and then we tell you what you should do.
Director Finance and your colleague Principal Accountant. Talk to us. You're not on record.
I think to answer that question directly, in note 4, we have 109 billion, 88 million, 925, 138. And like I said before, the non-tax revenue is actually reconciled on the face of what?
Figures. Look at the note and look at the warrant. Warrant is 109,088,925,133. Here it is 109,088,925,138.
Yeah. The gentleman next to the principal accountant has been itching to talk. Can you give him an opportunity to talk?
The principal accountant, is the figure on page 41 the same figure on page 48?
Allow your colleague there to talk. He has been itching to talk. Maybe he will help you.
So, Madam Chair.
Yes.
The issues of accountability, we are made easy in this country. Allow us time. We shall just go on the system and pick what is actual on the system.
But you're
so where did you pick these ones?
I request.
Where did you get?
I request you, Chair.
Excuse me.
Through your boss.
Excuse me.
Boss,
Excuse me.
to allow us the time we have requested, so that we can go and reconcile.
Excuse me.
Documents.
I am the one asking you. Did you confirm these were your financial statements? Yes or no? Are these your financial statements?
Chair, I can confirm these are audited financial statements
Yours?
of NARO.
Yes.
Audited.
Where did you get them from? From the system.
That is true.
So which other system are you going now to get different figures? Are you going to manipulate the system?
Honorable Tungo. First, hold on.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, it's a bit unfortunate that in the introduction, one said he's there for 14 days, another for 100 and something days, and we're looking at June 2022. But this other gentleman who is saying he has been there for over 10 years or something, I want to find out from you whether you had an exit meeting with the auditors and whether this matter came up in an exit meeting. Did you attend the exit meeting with the auditors?
Chair, statements are audited, and I want to confirm we attended the exit meeting with auditors, and none of these issues was raised. Otherwise, it would have been corrected if it was the case.
No, but the simple question I want to ask you, the principal accountant. The reference has been made to the errors. Have you noticed that there's an error?
We are going to look at the figures again and revert.
No, you don't need to even go and look.
Chair.
The other one is talking of the last figure is 3. Then in note 4 here is talking, the last figure is 8. Is that an error or not? Or you need to go to space for you to know that it is an error?
Madam Chair.
It is an error.
Madam.
So what are you going to do about the error? You see, what I told you earlier on, I said, we are human beings. So, when there's an error which is very obvious, don't even look for answers which is not there. Okay?
Madam Chair.
Now your colleague is saying it's just a matter of going to the system and we sort it out. But your MD is saying we need one week to reconcile. So which is which?
Madam Chair, members, we appreciate the guidance. We request for time to go and reconcile and we get back.
Madam Chair, just for the record, Madam Chair, the competence of the gentleman, can we know your qualifications?
Which of the gentlemen?
This one has been there
the
for...
The principal accountant. Okay.
Chair, I am a graduate of bachelor's degree in business administration. I specialize in accounting, Makerere University. I thought you wanted to know my qualification. I have an MBA in finance, Makerere University. I am a qualified or certified public accountant with 7 years experience, post-qualification experience.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Honorable again.
Madam Chair, asking whether this document belong to NARO. And then 2, I had also wanted to find out whether the Director General had a prior meeting with the team and they reviewed this document before they come here. And then I also wanted to find out if they had a prior meeting, why is it they were not able to detect this error and correct it highly from the system before they come here?
Honorable, then we can come to those issues. Honorable Muzale.
Qualifications. I doubt whether indeed he has these qualifications. You know, Madam Chair, you may not need to have all these qualifications to just take note of these errors. He has been with this document for months. He knew he was coming. I expected that he would have known that there are errors in this document. Madam Chair, maybe this gentleman can submit to us his qualifications so that we get to know exactly. Because it is either he's sleeping on job. This is why all these errors are happening. And I don't know whether Wana Idi, Geno, sorry, now Geno. I didn't know that even in civil service we have Genos. Commissioner General? Director General. I don't know whether he also had time to sit with your team and look through this document word by word before coming here. Would expect at least with the main accountants that you have on this line here, the manager finance Marchaz is just new in this office. We just had this document this morning, but we were able to identify these errors. If really you were very serious that you are coming here, would expect that at least you had time to sit down, look through this document, know where issues are, and wouldn't be wasting time.
I asked you whether you are the one who, gave the written response, and you said yes with this amendment, which means you had time to, look through your figures. And for me, it brings me also to another question. What is your approval process like? Internal auditor, are you part of this process? Do you assist where possible? Or is it just the principal accountant who just sits alone, looks through the figures and says, MD, now here I'm done? Okay. Honorable Bernard first. No, yes. Honorable Tungo, hold on.
Thank you, Chair.
Hold on.
The PA, the principal, really, accountant, with all that qualifications, the experience, even the time he has been in NARO. For us, we got this document just like 30 minutes, and we could realize all these mistakes. Principal accountant, you just be honest to us. Are you the one who really prepared this document, or there's someone who worked on your behalf and then you did the work of signing? Okay. Just be honest to us and tell us the truth before you enroll us to put you on oath. That's one. Another thing, members, all your guests, really tell us the truth. Did you have your meeting to go through all these papers? Because as you arrived, we started, then you handed in another document.
Honorable Bernard,
that the figures are not matching and they have accepted
yes.
their mistakes, their errors, so we should give them time.
Not,
but
yeah, we're not.
Like he has suggested, maybe one day to come with reconciled statements so that we go on and tackle something else, other than wasting time on the same thing.
Yeah, we have noted, they have accepted, they erred, and they have reconciled. It will go finally, but I've already ruled. I hope it is not on this issue.
Madam, I thank you for the ruling. But you see, Madam, when the entities appear here, among other things, we should do our oversight. An entity masquerading as overqualified when he's misleading the entity. And the new MD should take note of this. You see, Chair, they first sat down and made the responses, the first responses. They have now brought the updated responses. The same mistake has not been detected by the gentleman. And the gentleman is over-insisting. I'm overqualified, so this is my final whatever. So, Chair, much as I take your guidance that they can go and reconcile, but please work as a team, don't to be misled by this gentleman. I don't know whether these documents are your documents or somebody else did for you these documents and you're just putting a stamp, because it is an embarrassment on a director general. You know, you cannot be a director and then a general and then you make these mistakes. The issues of generals should be issues of generals, not these kwara generals.
That is noted, to reconcile and get back to us. But principal accountant, there's a popular demand for you to hand in your CV, so please do the needful. But the rest of the issues we have noted, we have taken note. Honorable Judge, let's not go back.
Let's talk about the non-tax revenue. But before we talk about non-tax revenue, on the last page of your financial statements, DG, you indicated some annexes, but we didn't find them. One of them is the trial balance. How can we have financial statements without a trial balance? It's not there. The bank reconciliation and list of all bank accounts. We are told you have over 100 bank accounts. 121. And we shall need this, including the bank balances, the schedule of verified areas, the summary of staff payroll. You indicated them here on the last page of that document, but you never put them. You never attached them. We don't know what your intention was. That you mention things, but you don't put them there. So can we have these documents?
So take note, we will need them.
Can we have these documents? Now, let's go to non-tax revenue.
Honorable Tungo, before we go to the next item, just a quick one.
Wait.
He's a professional person according to what he said. And he knows very well that this is a requirement by the Accountant General, that you cannot prepare accounts and without those attachments. It is a requirement. And I heard him saying that we are going back to do a reconciliation within 2 hours or 1 day. Then tomorrow we shall give verified figures. My brother, you're an accountant, you know the process very well. It is not just a question of going into the system and you do a reconciliation. You have to think for authorization with the Accountant General, and you must verify them with the Accountant General, which is a process. But I've had you on record saying that by tomorrow you'll have, you know, there are certain things. I think now I'll go back to Muzale, what Muzale was saying. Thank you.
Members, I want us to look at the first query to do with non-tax revenue, performance of non-tax revenue. It is on page 2 of the report. NARO budgeted to collect 2.8 billion, but they collected 3.09 billion. Do you want us to clap hands and say you overperformed on this? You collected much more than you had planned, and we say thank you because you overperformed.
Yeah, maybe you can first thank them.
Can we first thank you?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now, can we go to page 49? And then your thank you will be short-lived. That thank you will be short-lived after looking at the page statements. Members, are we at page 49?
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the financial statements for the period ending 30th June, the previous financial year, 2021, 2020, 2021, you people collected 3.05 billion. Are you there, principal accountant? And the planner, are you there?
Start from page 48, but the figures are on page 49. On your document, this one here, this one.
Note 6. Note 6 is on page 40 that you people collected the previous financial year before this financial year under review. Is this the correct figure? That you collected 3 billion and 53 million. Is that correct?
It's correct.
You say it strongly.
It is correct.
Now, if that is correct, how did you plan to collect 2.8 billion when in the previous year you had collected 3 billion? So were you sincere and genuine? And now when you collect 3 billion, you say you have overperformed. Did you overperform or you under budgeted?
For that. On the same note,
Yes, Honorable Mzale.
miscellaneous revenue.
Additional question, Madam Chair.
Yes, Honorable Nangoli.
Now that is the work of the previous year. It was 1.219. Then the year under review, 1.149. So if you are justifying those figures, explain also about rent. Give some light about rent.
So can we get a response?
Here, it can fall. For example, a moment.
Rent. Is there an issue? Is there an instance where you move rent downwards, or it goes upwards?
So, simply, what can happen? There can be scenarios. If you project.
Okay, you tell us the scenarios.
Pull the mic closer.
Planner, you are saying there can be scenarios. You tell us what those scenarios were that made you plan downwards in terms of tax revenue, that made you think this year we are going to collect less than what we collected last year.
Which kind of anticipations?
What are the scenarios?
NTR. If we are talking about the total NTR correction, we had even a meeting with the Minister of Finance where we reviewed the collections so that we don't over-project. So, we looked at the sources available and we projected like that. And that was the planning figure that was captured. The issues of execution, when they executed and they collected what they collected, that's what they reported as overperformance. And indeed, you appropriated this budget in question. You appropriated that figure, and in execution, we collected that. So we had to report the overperformance. I submit, Chair.
Can you go to and the planner was still telling us scenarios.
Renting buildings. What are you renting? Where you are collecting this money?
Chair, one of our revenue sources of staff occupying houses of the organization.
That what?
Staff occupying organizational houses. We charge them rent every month.
Okay. Continue.
So it contributes to our NTR.
So which means those staff who were paying money, you reduced the rent?
It depends. Sometimes the houses are dilapidated and they are condemned. And once they are condemned, we don't allow them to occupy
We need
them.
evidence.
The houses are across the country. If you go to Namlonge, you will see them. If you go to Kawanda, you will see staff houses. If you go to Mukono Zadi, you will see staff houses.
But now,
Excuse
this
me.
also brings me to another question. Really, this year, okay, last year, you got a lot of money from rent. Now this year, it goes down. And yet you got a lot of money last year. Now it goes down this year. And then you are telling us that the houses are not good, so you reduce the rent. So it means you are not taking care of these what? The property. That's also another component of planning.
No, Chair, that is not sufficient. Where are those houses which were condemned, which led to the shortfall? Where are they located? Where are they located?
No, the truth is, they don't know why the rent went down. They are just now gambling. Yeah, from what I am getting, because you tell us.
Chair.
Chair,
Why did the rent go down? Yes.
the rent went down
Mm-hmm.
because some of the staff houses have not been occupied by staff because they're in bad state. Namulonge, Kawanda, Serere, Jinza, they are all over the country where there's no...
Do you have a report to that effect stating clearly that the following houses are not fit for rent and the status?
Manager Land is here. You can tell us.
I don't care who answers, but we are...
that they are unoccupied, that they are across the country.
How do you people operate? How do you operate, you people?
Talk about the state of houses we have in the organization.
No. As an organization, something is spoiled. You just informally say, yeah, in Namulonge we have houses which are spoiled. There is no report to that effect. Because that is what you would have given us and said, this is the report we have to show that the following houses are not in good condition.
And Chair, in addition to that, okay, let us think that come up with a proposed program or plan or budget where you intend. We have not looked at them, but let us presuppose that they are there. What is your plan? What have you put on board to ensure that you make them utilize? Is there any document to that effect?
That's supposed to recommend whichever asset you own that is not supposed to be used. In fact, they are even supposed to recommend for disposal of some assets, Board of Survey. So my question is there any Board of Survey report that recommended that these houses should not be used and therefore we should even dispose them? Because that is a requirement.
I want to request Professor Taisiri to respond to the issue of the state of houses and the Board of Survey. Professor Taisiri.
We have NARO has property spread across the entire country at various public research institutes, and some of these buildings were inherited when NARO was formed, and some of them have been declared not fit for human habitation by the Board of Survey. Every year we have a Board of Survey that recommends properties that should be disposed, movable assets, and those that are not fit for human habitation. And those reports are available on your members. Thank you.
But
And it doesn't answer the questions we are asking. Actually, the Board of Survey report is saying, I picked this important statement, that the entity should put in place a plan to either revamp the dilapidated structures across the institutions or demolish them to curb any calamity of inhabitants and or officers working under such premises. It doesn't tell us, this report, that there are premises that are vacant.
How many,
They are only dilapidated, they need the refurbishment or demolition, something like that. So the questions we are asking
For the year in review is 1,037,000,000. Now, we just need to be told, had you assumed some occupants would leave these houses because they are not in good state? That's the reason why you had to push down your projections. What were the factors that led you to put down your projections for the year 2022?
Honorable Itungo.
Thank you, Madam. Madam, my rent. You have been collecting this money. How do you use this money? If you are saying buildings are condemned, others are dilapidated, when you collect this rent of 1.something billion, where do you put this money? Madam
Chair, when we collect rent, which is our NTR, part of our NTR, this money is disbursed back to the public agricultural services where it is coming from. And the money is invested in improving the quality of house we have. The challenge we have is that the account officer had told you these houses are over 50 years and the cost of maintaining them is too high. So such rent cannot be enough to work on them at a go. So the plan is to do them in a phased manner. And every year we allocate money to do maintenance of our staff houses and other structures.
Now, Madam Chair.
You see, NARO.
Madam Chair, just
NARO, just hold on.
Clarification from the accounting officer, because what I know, Parliament appropriates money to NADS, and they are supposed to have, to NARO, and they are supposed to have a budget. And you're supposed to plan and budget for renovation or for construction
or
of new houses.
demolition or building new houses.
My question is, do they spend the money they collect from rent on source, or that money is banked on the consolidated fund, and thereafter Parliament appropriates money according to the budget that you have approved? Thank you.
Have you ever approached your sectoral committee and told them your plan regarding this property? Secondly, do you have estate in your structure? Do you have somebody who is in charge of the estate, those houses? Do you have estate management?
Madam Chair, the function of all civil works and estate management is under the Directorate of Corporate Services and is overseen by our civil engineer.
So is that engineer here today?
We have the engineer around with us.
Huh? You're the one. We are talking about you and you're quiet. So what plan?
Which is 4.9 billion. That is as of 1st July 2021. Then additional, which is 30th June 2022, 3.2 billion. Cumulative at 30th June 2022, which is 8.1. They can explain to us.
Maybe before, I want the estate stroke engineer to first talk to us about this property.
Adding the structures of NARO, as my colleague said, these are structures that were built in the colonial period.
Yes.
And as NARO, we try to budget for O&M, operation and maintenance. But the budget for operation and maintenance is not that big to maintain all the structures at once. So we maintain a few that we can accommodate in a given financial year. But we do maintenance.
Yes. Do you ever give your boss a report?
Yes, we do.
So where is the report?
We didn't carry them because we didn't think they will be required now. I mean, required here.
No, I'm not talking about the survey the survey report. I am talking about the asset, like the status of the asset, the houses, for you to come up with that figure that this year we're going to get less rent because of these houses are not in good state. Do you have that report? As the estate manager or engineer, I don't know what title that one is.
Chair, I'm not in charge of managing rent or even.
No, not managing rent. You are in charge. They said you are the one, the estates. Okay, for me, I know it locally as estates manager.
My title is I'm an engineer in civil. And in case there is any civil work to be done, maintenance or new works and so on, that is where I come in. But the role of establishing how much to be collected or whatever, that is not mine.
No, that's not the. That's not the question I'm asking. I'm asking, okay, you are the one who knows that there's a wire in that house which is needed, not so? Huh? Maintenance.
No.
Huh?
No.
Okay, what do you do? What do you do exactly?
When it comes to construction works or civil works,
what do you do exactly? You respond to me.
Madam Chair.
What is your job description?
My job description is to undertake all civil works activities.
So how do you undertake civil works without knowing the status of that property? Who tells you to do the work?
Chair, can I ask an additional question?
Yes.
Does civil works include refurbishment?
Yes, to some extent, but there are certain refurbishments that are not civil.
No, civil refurbishments.
Civil refurbishment, yes.
Yes. So is what we are talking about not part of that?
What you are talking about is partly part, but the needs assessment is not done by my office.
Okay, who does that? That's what I want to know.
The directors of the several institutes that we have do the needs assessment.
Are they engineers?
No, they are not engineers, but they are the occupants of those premises.
For example, director of Nakori.
Yes.
Is the one supposed to do the assessment.
When they realize that there is a building that they need repair for, they invite the engineer, and the engineer does the estimates. Which estimates are submitted to...
What is HR? Who prepares job descriptions for these people? Who prepares the job description?
Where is the HR? Okay.
Chair, the job descriptions are prepared by us and then approved by council.
Us meaning who?
Sorry, HR.
HR.
Yes.
So, are you following what we are talking about?
Yes, I'm following.
Is this supposed to be the role of the director or the role of the engineer?
First and foremost, at institute level, we have somebody in charge of human resource and administration who is supposed to monitor from time to time.
For me, I'm talking about the gentleman before us here, this one, the engineer. What is his role? What is he supposed to do? Or you don't need an engineer at NARO?
No, we need an engineer at NARO, and his work is actually to follow up where a case of dilapidated building is reported, to do the BOQs and then proceed to repair.
So what we are raising actually falls squarely under his mandate.
True.
So can we say he's sleeping on the job?
Given the size of NARO,
who does he report to?
He reports to Director Corporate Services.
Where is Director Corporate Services? What? Because all this is actually under him, according to us.
Yeah, I have reports on the needs assessments as given.
His assessments.
Yeah, as given by the directors of several institutes, as well as the progress on the several innovation works that are going on.
Yes, does he go and verify in the different institutes those assessments they have done, and he prepares reports also to you?
Yes, that is done.
So, and that's what we are asking. How come all this is not captured, is not covered? Anyway, Chair, we are taking a lot of time on this matter.
I may be wrong, but I have not understood who is responsible, because all of you are dodgy. Me, I just go and repair. That's what the engineer is saying. So, for me, I expected an organization like NARO to have somebody in charge of the property, the assets that you have, so that when you are sending the engineer to do the work, it is the assets manager who is sending the engineer to work on house A. But now I have not had this come out very clearly. And that is for me a gap, and as a committee we have taken note. That's the best we can do. Friends, let's take note and we move forward.